Now the Madison mayor, Dave Cheslevich, harshest Walker critic out there, is doing victory laps. He's doing victory laps over his new union contract agreement, which he rushed through. With Governor Walker's budget repair bill now passed, Madison is moving quickly to further extend a labor contract with its biggest union, with both sides saying the deal will benefit employees and taxpayers. A tentative deal between the city and AFSCME Local 60 would deliver 2% wage hikes on the last pay periods of 2011 and 2012, a 3% increase on the pay period of 2013. So he worked pay increases in for these people. He's given them a sweetheart deal, but they're still going to save money. Why? Walker's fixes. In exchange, union members would pay 6% for health care premiums starting in January of 2013 and another 6% at the beginning of 2014, and they would contribute half of the cost of their pension starting on January of 2012. By 2014, employee contributions for benefits would mirror those required by Walker's budget repair bill. So they're slow walking Walker's changes in Madison. He's still saving them gobs of money. Under this agreement, the city would save a net of $2.8 million in 2012. If other city unions made similar deals, the city could save as much as $10 million next year, Cheslevich said. His own numbers. And savings from non-union employees in Walker's budget repair provide another $2.2 million in 2012. And then get this. The city, Cheslevich said, stands to lose about $11 million in state aid in 2012 and needs another $10 to $20 million just to continue existing services. Madison will try to use cuts, efficiencies, and other revenues to close out the rest of the 2012 budget gap, the mayor said. Now, here again, if you need people like me to interpret this, he's saying, okay, with all this money that we're realizing in savings, we're still going to be somewhere between $10 and $20 million short. Idiot. That's why you shouldn't have rushed ahead with these new union contracts in the first place. Because you could have made other moves. You could have found that other $10 million in savings that you need if you wouldn't have made these union contracts deals now. You wouldn't have to resort to cuts. This guy wouldn't have to resort to cuts in services. The dope. If he had just waited and gotten more savings and more concessions out of those union contracts. This is the exact point that I and Belling and others have been trying to point out. This is why you don't rush ahead. Mayor Cheslevich has put himself in a box now where he still has a $10 to $20 million shortfall. He could have realized that by just making other little tinkering, tampering changes in those contracts. And we all know that when Dave Cheslevich makes cuts to lose services in Madison, he'll blame Scott Walker. By the way, AFSCME leaders were so grateful to Cheslevich for getting this deal done, they've endorsed him in his re-election bid over Paul Soglin. So think about this. Those union members are taking it in the shorts on pension and health care contributions, but they realize it could have been so much worse. And they're so grateful for their 2% and 3% raises and that they're endorsing Cheslevich, thanking him politically for taking pension and health care perks away. Such is the power of Walker's changes here. He's tipping the balance of power back to the taxpayers and away from the unions, even in those areas in which you have big lefty Democrats running everything and protecting the unions. But notice again on this story, I feel like I need to keep emphasizing this. Folks, these are the liberals who rushed ahead so they didn't have to change anything else. They're locking in the status quo with just a few small alterations to pension and health care. Walker's budget repair bill gives them so many other ways to cut expenses, alter contracts, realize bigger savings. But they're refusing to do that. So what does it say? What does it say that in the communities that are refusing to go along with Walker's changes in good faith, they are still realizing huge savings and huge budget corrections here? This is huge news. This is total vindication for Scott Walker. Are we going to see the stories in the mainstream media? Total vindication for Walker. Can you get that on a headline in the Journal-Sentinel's front page? Total vindication for Walker should be the headline. These stories are so carefully written out of in the Wisconsin State Journal this morning. They should be, Walker causes Madison savings. You can get that on a headline. Total vindication for Walker already. And in liberal districts, liberal areas. And the irony is these communities that are fighting Walker the hardest and are making the fewest changes are vindicating him. They're still vindicating his moves. Even as they continue to spit tax at the guy.